I think in the sense of you think it's going to go one way or it'll be some.
Tyler Perry is caught in the middle of a jaw-dropping 9-figure lawsuit, and it's not about a movie deal.
Tyler Perry's facing a 9-figure lawsuit surrounding allegations.
Nope. This time it's his ex and the mother of his child, Gelila Bekele, shaking things up in a way nobody saw coming. After years of staying quiet, Gelila is now breaking her silence and spilling tea about what really went down between them, and it's way messier than fans expected. Sources online are buzzing that Gelila didn't just walk away from a breakup, she may have run from a storm. She's reportedly dropping hints about secret lives, hidden truths, and even shady behavior behind closed doors. Word on the street is there's a lawsuit accusing Perry of harassment and manipulation. Serious stuff. But it doesn't stop there. Leaked texts, talk of uncomfortable moments with male actors, and people quietly distancing themselves from Perry's circle are fueling suspicions. What once looked like a peaceful split might have been a silent escape. Gelila's throwing light on what some are now calling a major cover-up, and she might have the receipts to back it up. If that's true, Perry's clean-cut image could be cracking wide open, fast. Remember how private they kept their relationship? They were barely seen together, never confirmed any engagement or wedding, nothing public. Then out of nowhere, Perry jumped on Instagram saying, "I'm 51, single, and wondering what the next chapter in my life will look like." No explanation, no mention of Gelila, just gone. The official word, an amicable split. But fans weren't buying that for a second. The timing, the silence, it all felt off, especially since Perry made a whole empire out of sharing real emotions through his films, but when it came to his own life, suddenly he had nothing to say. Tyler Perry kept it all hush-hush, no details, no explanations, and that silence, it only made things look even more suspicious. People had been whispering about Perry's private life for years, especially when it came to his sexuality. Anytime someone hinted at him being gay or closeted, insiders say he went off. Word is, he was furious every time those rumors popped up. Some folks believe Perry stayed with Gelila for years, just to keep the gossip quiet, a long-term relationship that looked more like a strategic move than real love. The idea? Present a clean, family man image to protect the empire he built. It's not new. High-profile men have been linked to one woman before just to avoid personal questions. But in this case, people online weren't buying it. They said it straight up. The relationship looked staged. Perry and Gelila never confirmed anything, never addressed the talk, and that silence only made things worse. One user on X even wrote, "He's still acting like he likes women. I guess he gonna come out like the brat did." That comment hit hard and gained traction. Then came the Dixon lawsuit, and everything flipped. The case dragged Perry's name into some wild claims, alleging misconduct and exposing private conversations. Suddenly, Gelila's quiet exit looked like more than just timing. It looked planned, like she dipped before the storm hit. But the real shocker, the actual details being exposed, Dixon says Perry approached him pretending it was about acting work. But according to the lawsuit, things got real uncomfortable. Fast, unwanted late-night texts, suggestive messages, and even physical advances. The leaked texts alone, they've gone completely viral and for good reason. One message reportedly said, "I would frack you and I haven't been touched in months." That's not just drama, that's explosive. Suddenly, all the whispers about Perry being closeted aren't just rumors anymore. They're coming with names, exact dates, screenshots, and even sworn statements. And just like that, Gelila is back at the center of it all.
Talking to my brother about making a declaration of my experience. What I experienced with certain powers that be that were moving inappropriately. This person was second me for years. He was claiming, that he had multiple young black men on the payroll, and they just had to show up when he requested them to be there. Not just women that have to deal with it, but it's also men sometimes. And it'll be men tempting men. I was like, well, I gotta protect me because I'm saying no, and I don't want this person as powerful as they are, to try to get in the way of my work. So I started recording. So I have them offering me money to take my clothes off. I have recordings when I wasn't working with them or for them. I have recordings of them confessing that, the other guys that they have on the payroll, all of the...
If these allegations turn out to be real, then Delilah's breakup with Perry starts to look like anything but random. People are saying maybe she always had her suspicions, and Dixon's lawsuit just confirmed everything she already saw behind closed doors. Word is, Delilah allegedly knew what Perry was really into, but she chose to stay silent. For their son, for her own image, and maybe to help keep Perry's empire from crashing down. When the lawsuit dropped, fans were quick to ask, is this why Delilah really walked away? Perry had made that cryptic Instagram post about being single, but Delilah, she said nothing. No support, no denial, no defense, just silence. And now, that silence feels loud, like she was already stepping away from something she knew would explode later. What once felt like gossip whispered in DMs and comment sections is now front and center, and backed by legal paperwork. Dixon's court filing includes a timeline that's hard to brush off. He claims he first met Perry back in 2019 at some event. Perry allegedly noticed him, asked for his number, and started dropping hints about future acting roles. At first, Dixon says it looked like an opportunity, until it suddenly didn't. According to him, things took a turn, and not in a good way. About a year after their first meeting, Perry allegedly invited Dixon to his Atlanta mansion. Dixon thought it was about mentorship or maybe finally leveling up his career. But what he says happened next was nothing like that. According to Dixon, the night took a strange turn. Too much drinking, him crashing in a guest room, and waking up to Perry touching his thighs. He says he shut it down right then and there. But from that point on, everything shifted, and it only got stranger. Dixon claims Perry kept reaching out, this time with bold, suggestive texts. These messages, they've been spreading all over the internet like wildfire. One of them reportedly said, no straight man would be going on walks with you or cooking dinner for you unless they wanted to you. I would. Another asked what it would take to be guiltless. These weren't friendly check-ins, they were loaded with intent. Dixon also dropped a bomb about the role Perry gave him on one of his shows. He played a gay homeless man who traded for a place to stay, and Dixon says that wasn't just acting. He claims the role mirrored exactly what Perry expected from him in real life. Even more disturbing, Dixon says Perry told him he needed someone loyal, submissive, and fully dependent on him. That's not mentorship. That sounds like control. By this point, Dixon says he felt stuck. He didn't want to lose the role, but he also didn't feel safe. He tried setting boundaries, made it clear he wasn't that type. But the text kept coming, then came the breaking point. In 2020, Dixon visited Perry again. That's when he claims Perry asked, "Do you like it rough in bed?" before allegedly grabbing him by the throat and saying, "Look how excited you just got." Now, that accusation has people in complete shock. Dixon says he pushed Perry off and got out of there, but that wasn't the end of it. According to him, things took an even darker turn. One night, he claims Perry walked into his guest room wearing nothing but underwear, pulled his own shorts down, groped him, and whispered, "Relax and just let it happen." Dixon says he dodged the moment by switching the subject fast, but the damage was already done. Fast forward to 2024, and Dixon officially filed a complaint with the EEOC. He quit the show and dropped a full-on lawsuit. That's when Perry's legal team fired back hard, calling the whole thing a shakedown and accusing Dixon of twisting the situation for clout. Perry's lawyer said, "This is an individual who got close to Tyler Perry for what now appears to be nothing more than setting up a scam." But while his team was doing all the talking, Perry himself, total silence. And that silence is deafening, especially for people who think Delilah saw all of this coming and backed out before it exploded. If even parts of Dixon's story are true, then Perry's perfect image just took a serious hit. And maybe, just maybe, Gelila had already lived through something similar. She just never spoke on it. Insiders close to both camps say Gelila had red flags in front of her long before anyone else noticed. Word is, she'd picked up on certain patterns, late-night meetings, unusually close bonds with male staff, and growing emotional distance at home. People say she'd already been uneasy about Perry's secretive behavior for a while. Some folks believe the final straw for Gelila was the kind of messages that are now all over the internet. In Dixon's case, people are speculating that Gelila either saw those texts firsthand or got word about Perry sending similar ones to other men. Messages that totally crossed professional lines. Combine that with the pressure of keeping up a fake picture-perfect relationship, and it's no surprise she may have decided to walk away for good. Even though Gelila hasn't spoken out publicly, gossip blogs say she's been quietly backing the legal process from behind the scenes. And here's the thing, she hasn't defended Perry once. She hasn't stepped in to clean up the mess or protect his image. That silence, it's loud. To a lot of people, it's saying everything without saying a word. Insiders are also pointing out how Gelila completely distanced herself from Perry's entire world since the split. She's out here doing her own thing, focusing on her activism, modeling gigs, and raising her son away from the spotlight. Some believe she bounced before the scandal blew up because she saw the warning signs. Others think she just got tired of pretending. Either way, what the public once called an amicable breakup is now being seen as a calculated escape. And if what's in Dixon's lawsuit turns out to be true, then Gelila won't just be remembered as an ex, she'll be the woman who saw the truth and dipped out right on time. As soon as the lawsuit dropped, the internet went off. Screenshots, court filings, and those wild alleged texts spread like wildfire. Social media split in two. Some were ready to cancel Perry immediately, while others called it a setup. The case has already sent shockwaves through Hollywood, and insiders say more people might start speaking up. If Dixon's story opened the door, others could be lining up to walk through it. There are whispers that former crew members and background actors are now considering coming forward with their own stories, some involving similar patterns, others pointing to long-standing tension behind the scenes. What's wild is how fast Perry's empire, once seen as bulletproof, is now under serious scrutiny. Studios that once proudly partnered with him are now being cautious. Industry execs are allegedly watching closely, waiting to see how deep this rabbit hole goes. Some are even freezing upcoming deals until the dust settles. And remember, this is a man who built his brand on morals, faith, and emotional healing. That image is now hanging by a thread. Even fans are conflicted. A wave of longtime supporters feel betrayed, questioning whether Perry's on-screen stories were ever real or just a well-crafted smokescreen. One fan commented, "Now I'm wondering how much of what he puts in his movies is just him hiding in plain sight." That kind of doubt, it's hard to come back from. Meanwhile, Gelila's silence keeps adding fuel to the fire. The fact that she stayed out of the chaos, refused to defend him, and hasn't once denied what's being said, it's got people convinced she knows more than anyone realizes. One user tweeted, "I had no idea Tyler Perry is gay," while another clapped back, "He'd been fruity. The only surprise is that it's finally in court." The internet had a meltdown. Social media lit up with reactions from every angle. For many in the LGBTQ+ community, the claims opened a deeper conversation. Was Perry battling his own identity behind the scenes? Was this the result of years of repression turning toxic? Or was it just another high-profile figure getting dragged down by fame, power, and legal drama? Not everybody was buying the scandal. Some folks online thought the messages didn't cross into criminal territory at all. One commenter said, "This just sounds like bad flirting and dry convo." People believe anything when it's about a black man in power. Another chimed in, "These texts sound like an older dude trying to help someone younger come out." It's weird, but not evil. To them, Perry wasn't praying, just fumbling. Still, plenty of others stood strong behind Dixon. "Perry was definitely into Derek Dixon," one user wrote, pointing directly at the tone and wording of the leaked texts. "Ain't no way you send messages like that if it's just business." But just as things were heating up for Perry, the backlash started turning toward Dixon too. Some began accusing him of clout chasing, questioning his motives and asking why he stuck around so long if things were that bad. As the drama dragged on, the internet turned savage, and Derek Dixon found himself under fire just as much as Perry. Critics started digging into his past, pulling up old interviews, headshots, and even casting calls, trying to piece together who he really was. Some folks asked, was this a real victim speaking out, or an actor playing his most convincing role yet? Dixon's credibility became a hot topic. People questioned why he kept showing up to Perry's sets, why he continued accepting roles, and why he stayed quiet for so long if the behavior had really made him uncomfortable. Some labeled him opportunistic, saying he waited until he was no longer booked to make his move. Others claimed he was using the court system for fame and a payout. But his supporters clapped back hard, saying this is exactly why people don't come forward, because the second they do, they're torn apart and blamed for their own trauma. He was trapped, one user posted. When someone holds your job, your image, your future, you can't just walk away. Meanwhile, the legal battle continued behind closed doors, but the court of public opinion was louder than ever. Memes flooded timelines. TikToks analyzing every screenshot racked up millions of views. Everyone had a theory, and nobody could agree on what was real anymore. Some fans began unfollowing Perry, while others doubled down in support. A few even said both men were telling some version of the truth, that it wasn't black and white, but a messy mix of blurred lines and power imbalance. Some folks are calling the timing way too convenient. They're picking apart the screenshots, the alleged intimacy, and demanding hard proof. I don't see anything explicit in these texts, not even a clear message. So Derek Dixon is lying, one skeptic posted. But even with the doubt, others can't ignore what's been building. The casting choices, the tone of the messages, and how that character Perry gave Dixon seemed to mirror his real-life struggles a little too closely. This doesn't feel random. It feels specific. It feels personal. And somehow, Gelila ended up in the middle of it all. Her exit from Perry's life could be seen as quiet strength or a smart move to get ahead of a storm. Either way, people online aren't letting go. Whether they stand with Dixon or not, the takes just keep rolling in. And the silence from Perry, it's only making things louder. Right now, his name is caught dead in the center of the spotlight. Was Gelila protecting her peace, her son, or walking away from something darker? That's the question everyone's asking. One thing's for sure, this story's far from over. So if you want the real updates, the receipts, and the next twist in this Hollywood saga, don't miss a beat. Like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss what drops next. Because the next chapter, it might flip everything. See you on the next one.